Hey guys, what's up? This is Leviticus MCE here. We're doing another episode of League of Legends for the win today. You guys seem to like the 25 more facts, and I got a lot of likes on that, so I figured I'd do another episode for you guys. See if you guys like this, and if so, we can keep doing more. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Some of you guys might know this already, but turrets actually do exponential damage on champions. Recently, turrets have been buffed to do 105% of their damage on champions' first hit, and they will increase on 25% damage at each hit, up to a maximum of 225% of their initial damage, which is why turret diving early on is no longer quite as safe. Alright, a few of you guys might have heard this line before, but maybe you're not too sure where it came from. Well, Jax has a skin, Jaxmus, which actually features a special line dedicated to an actual person. This person, he was a kid named Hunter. He used to play League of Legends, loved the game. Unfortunately, he had Ewing sarcoma, I believe how it's pronounced, and he went to Riot Games before he passed away, Make-A-Wish Foundation. So in honor of his passing, Riot Games has changed one of Jax's lines to say, "Here's to you, kid." Way back when, Sunfire capes used to stack. With all the champions in League of Legends, there's bound to have been a few failures. We probably don't know all of them, but we do know a few. Among these are Gavid, Averdrian, and Taboo. Now, it's rumored that some of these champions might have been made into new champions, converted into other stuff, but that really isn't confirmed. We can't do too much there, and a lot of times the developers will deny that, so it's probably not necessarily true. But we do know for a fact that their skill abilities have been used as buff icons for neutral minions as well as champion icons for their abilities. I mean, way back during preseason or beta, whatever you want to call it, and season 1, 80 carries were the most popular mid. Alright, so Vi and Caitlyn actually have a few different interactions, so we're not going to go through all of them because there's actually quite a few. But it is interesting to note that when both of them are on the same team, it will give them a buff called On the Case, Piltover's Finest. Also, when this happens, when the two are next to each other, they will be given 1 bonus movement speed, and when the two assist each other in kills, they'll get 1 bonus gold. Now, also, what's interesting is that when an enemy Vi is near Caitlyn, she will prompt one of 2 special taunts, to which Caitlyn will receive a debuff named How Agitated, or Agitated. It doesn't do anything, but it's just one of those aesthetic buffs. Speaking of Vi actually means with force in Latin. This is probably the origins of her name, as she is obviously the manpower behind the whole criminal investigations and police work in Piltover. It also could be a reference, though, to her name could be a reference to the Roman numerals VI, which obviously is 6, and that could correspond to the popular saying "on your 6." Interestingly enough, Zed actually has a special death animation. When he dies, instead of just falling as a corpse, he actually escapes through a portal. Now, it hasn't been confirmed whether or not he actually cheats death, but there have been assumptions made. Alright, speaking of Zed, let's go ahead and look into the lore a little bit. Zed and Shen, they were both actually trained by the same person, which happened to be Shen's father. Now, this worked out fine until Zed ended up one day killing Shen's father and starting his own little clan of shadows or whatever. Because of this lore interaction in game, if you actually taunt Shen using Zed, Zed will say that you won't be an orphan much longer, Shen. Alright, so a lot of you know what Zhonya's Hourglass is, right? Well, Zhonya's Hourglass actually had a predecessor. That was Zhonya's Ring. That gave you 120 ability power, and it had the passive which increased your overall ability power by 25%, which, by the way, was actually just a normal passive, not unique, so it would stack with itself. And on top of this, its unique passive would allow you to be in stasis for 2 seconds. Now, you can probably figure where I'm going with this, but later on they decided that was not really necessary and split it into 2 individual items, and thus came into being Rabadon's Death Cap and Zhonya's Hourglass. Now, this was one of my favorite ideas when I first heard about it. And this was Magma Chamber, and it was another map for League of Legends. It was supposed to be, I believe, a 5v5. And I remember hearing about this and thinking, oh, it's going to be the best thing ever. Basically, it was this giant map that featured teleporters that brought you around the map and whatnot, so you could get around quickly, since it was supposed to be a large map. Unfortunately, they did change it into a Dominion map, the Crystal Scar. Kind of a letdown, but yeah. There you go, magma chamber. Alright, for a while there was a little bug where you could actually cleanse off the casting time of teleport. This had a lot of exploits, for example, where you could use Skarner, ult someone, then teleport back to a ward in your fountain, cleanse that off, and you would bring them with you into the fountain. It was shortly fixed after. Alright, here's a little interesting piece of information. Whenever Fizz actually uses Churn the Waters on enemy champions, if the enemy champion happens to be a Yordle, just someone small, with the exception of a couple people, it will actually consume the corpse if it's a killing blow. So it won't leave any corpse behind. And it does work on Fizz himself when you use it on enemy Fizz. Alright, this one was actually pointed out to one of my viewers from last video, so thank you for that, Supreme Overlord Sloth. Anyways, Kog'Maw, that's kind of ironic because every single line, or almost every line he uses, actually has to do with him complaining about being hungry, but all of his abilities other than his passive have to do with him vomiting. So yeah, there's a little bit of contrast there. Now this one is not as well known, I don't think. You can actually take, there are 5 champions that originate from the Shadow Isles that you can get special lines from when you actually capture one of the altars. Now Evelynn does originate from the Shadow Isles, but she does not have a line due to the fact that they do not want to tell you too much about her lore. I think my personal favorite line has to do with the joke they have when the announcer says, "Alas, poor Yorick." Alright, if you guys are like me, you probably like to indulge yourself in a little bit of story. So, you know, there's the lores and whatnot, but sometimes that just isn't enough. So, out there are actually some judgments, the champion judgments that you can find, where it's basically the council making decisions on whether or not the person becomes a champion, what they do, and their thoughts and whatnot, and it's sometimes told through their perspective, so it really adds personality and character to your champions. So if that's something you're interested in, there will be links below. As evidence that Riot Games does in fact listen to us, it's kind of interesting to note that both Battle Bunny Riven and Birthday Party Fiddlesticks are both user-suggested skins. Now this one's just kind of a personal thing, kind of in a way, but my favorite, at least, pro gamer, Alex Each, what's interesting to know about him is that not only is he a pro gamer, but he's also a husband and a soon-to-be dad. He had noted that it was the great day when he had found this out. Alright, so when Ezreal was first designed, his Essence Flux actually healed allies which a hit. This made him probably one of the first AD carries that could play somewhat of a support role and a damage carry. Gangplank actually has his own internet meme. Usually this goes along with the original setup where it says, Malzahar ults me, but then I ate some oranges, and it was K. Vilemaw, the jungle boss in Twisted Treeline, will actually dance if 2 champions dance within 5 seconds in front of Vilemaw. The inverse law of ninja strength states that ninjas are stronger when working alone. This applies to League of Legends as, with each ninja on the team, each ninja loses 1 maximum HP. Diana's login music is actually a little bit unique because it was the first login music to feature actual lyrics. Now, interestingly enough, the lyrics in the song were actually sung by the graphic designer that programmed and designed the reticle for Diana's Q. This one is for you Legend of Zelda fans out there. Lulu's buff, Hey Pix, will actually display the message, Hey Listen, at the end of the tooltip. This is a direct reference to the Legend of Zelda series, and is not the only reference to the Legend of Zelda series if you watched my first video. And finally, to finish things off, you may have noticed that Sona plays different songs with each of her aura abilities, the Q, W, and E. Well, if you listen closely, her Q is actually the League of Legends theme playing. Alright everybody, thank you for bearing with me for this whole video. I know it's been a long video, and it took me quite a bit of time to actually put this one together. Getting the facts, making the pictures, doing the voice recording. So I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you guys are looking forward to more, because I certainly want to do more. So if you guys want some more, then go ahead and leave me a shout in the comments or something of that sort to tell me so, and I'll go ahead and get on that. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, see ya.